Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to be back on a Saturday morning with you. This was sort of my space 4 years ago when I was doing traditional TV, and I'm really excited to be back sharing the brand that I launched back in February. So Truly Jude is really about finding our soulful spaces. And that can mean inside of ourselves, it can mean in our surroundings, it can mean in our home. And I'm really excited to welcome you into my home and kind of into my heart as I've launched Truly Jude. When I first did it, it took me a long time to publish on that first blog. And I'll tell you why. Being in traditional television, I loved telling other people's stories. That's what I love to do. And that was comfortable for me. And of course I was authentic as I anchored on the air, but you only have a little bit of time to share, and you're not always sharing your deepest feelings. So as I developed Truly Jude, it felt very vulnerable to share what I was feeling. But I think it's really important. I think today, many people are getting away from traditional faith. And I think Truly Jude is a space where we really listen to the whisper inside ourselves, and God's grace plays a role in that, however you define that. And that's really free for your own definition. But I feel like we all want to feel soulful, and we're figuring it out. And so am I. So I've decided to do a show every Saturday morning. And first, I'm going to tell you what's coming up today. I'm going to be talking about Colin Powell. I'm going to talk about my newest blog, Don't Wait for Anyone Else to Dance. And I'm also going to share a little bit about the author of Fat Girl Running, a blog that inspires me, and she just inspires me. So first of all, I want to start with Colin Powell and the death of Colin Powell. I think what I would want to share is just how moved I was by him because of his grace and dignity. Grace has just become more and more important to me, and the way that I hold my own grace and the way that other people do too. And something else I loved was how Vermont's senior Senator Patrick Leahy and his wife talked about the death of Colin Powell, and I want to share that with you. They tweeted, "Marcel and I are devastated by Colin Powell's untimely passing. He was a wise, decent, and generous spirit. He and Alma were married on the same day that we were, and most years on that day, we talk with and tease each other. Our hearts are heavy, and our thoughts are with Alma and their family." I loved how personal it was, and I also loved the respectful nature of it. That's something that is missing from politics today, and I think that it just felt soulful to read about their personal connection and the humanity between them and the respect between them. I also don't believe in coincidences, so I think it's very soulful that the two of them were married on the same day and so loyal and loving to their spouses. This week I wrote a blog called Don't Wait for Anyone Else to Dance. And it really came from a space of being self-conscious. And I think that being self-conscious is a waste of youth. And I wanted to share what I learned about why I should just get out and dance. If that's what I love to do, if that's what my soul calls me to do, then I need to go do that and stop worrying about what anybody else thinks. So I shared my path to that and the ebbs and flows of that in my own marriage, and how the way that we dance together has changed, both figuratively and literally. And I hope that you'll take time to read that blog. I also share a little bit about my experience with my longtime friends and the angst and the joys that we've been through, and how at a wedding we were all together at recently, none of us waited to dance. So hopefully your soul kind of opens up to things that you love to do, and that you stop worrying about what other people think. I had a chance to listen to Myrna Valerio. She is really an influencer at this point. She has the blog, Fat Girl Running, and she spoke about how she feels her most self when she is in nature and how she seeks that for herself and what that means for her. And I could so relate to that because if you read my blog, you know that being in nature is part of my faith. It's part of how I believe in something bigger. It put me on the top of a mountain and I feel closest to God. And Truly Jude really is about all faiths and what God is to you. And I think it's important to step into nature because it helps us quiet ourselves down and like quiet our mind down and really start to think about what is it that we value and how do we want to spend our life and where do we want to spend our life and who do we want to be surrounded by. The quiet of nature just takes you to a place where you can really think about what is important to you. She said that when she signed up for her first race, she was absolutely terrified. And I kind of had to laugh because I think that finding your soulful space really is about doing something like that and being scared and not knowing how it's going to turn out. She fell off the cliff. And I feel like that is her Truly Jude moment where she just took that leap of faith. And then look what has happened for her life. She has just come into her own and she is now getting to share that with all of us, which the world is a better place because we get to hear from Myrna. So coming up next Thursday, I'm going to be posting a blog about Magnolia Paint. They're the TV show and the network and the paint, the bed, and the furniture. But it really is about creating a soulful space. And I'm going to share some of the projects that I did here in my house and the way that choosing color helps me create soulful spaces. So I hope that you'll keep an eye out for that at trulyjude.com. I'll post that coming up next week. And as I leave you, I just want to say that I hope that you will leap toward that faithful space because it will bring you to the soulful place you're really meant to be.